Jews. They are not the real Israel. In fact, we come closer to qualifying because we have gotten under the blood of the King of Jews, Jesus. And the Zionists are imposters, and they are trying to do what has been done in this country. They're trying to orchestrate something that's not under their control, it's under God's control. And he's not going to take that lightly in the end. The same thing has happened to, if you look at the history of the church, Calvin, the Presbyterian founder, Wesley, the Methodist founder, Luther, the Lutheran founder, all went back to the Bible. They all did what we're trying to do, and that's go back to the truth, unadulterated, unprostituted, with all of man's trappings, just true biblical truth, and it's been perverted. The majority of the mainstream churchiosity in America has gone the same way as has everybody else. They have married it to worldly tendencies and man's opinion, just like we have our Constitution. We covered it up by the opinion of a bunch of guys in dresses instead of sticking with the Constitution. How could it possibly maintain its original purity when man's willing to adulterate it and pervert it?
Well, that's true. That's true. And I have always referred to myself, Jake, as the canary in the coal mine. When I started the militias, you know, the heat came down on me. It came down on me. And, you know, people would call me up and go, well, Clay, do you know where a militia I could join? And I said, well, if you haven't known the people your whole life, and there's more than 10 people in your militia, one of them is a Fed trying to set you up. And it's happening now, Jake. Let me play a clip. Now this is from CNN, and it's probably a little dated, not much, because the ADL and Southern Poverty Law have just come out with brochures with new hit pieces, and they're referring to people that are in the Tea Parties. And they could be talking about soccer moms that are protesting, you know, the federal control of our money. And this is Lou Dobbs. Hold on just a second.
Universal report and more damage control from the Department of Homeland Security, the same department that issued a report suggesting returning war veterans were susceptible to extremist groups, also issuing what it calls the, quote, domestic extremism lexicon, end quote. It's like a dictionary with definitions for various extremist or terrorist groups and some definitions. Here's an entry: anti-immigration extremism. The Department of Homeland Security's definition: people who are, quote, highly critical of the U.S. government's response to illegal immigration and oppose government programs that are designed to extend rights to illegal aliens, such as driver's licenses and in-state tuition. Here's another one: single-issue extremist groups. According to the DHS dictionary, there are individuals who focus on a single cause, such as animal rights or the environment. They are also described as special interest extremists. And this, anti-technology extremism, also referred to as neo-Luddites. These apparently are individuals who are opposed to technology. A DHS spokesperson today told us the dictionary was not authorized, that it was recalled shortly after it was let out, and state and local law enforcement officials have been told to ignore it. Joining me
now, that's the same thing that happened to me almost 10 years ago when the FBI put out a guide to right-wing extremists, Jake, and there I was, Clay Douglas, Free American Magazine, right there up on it. I made 2 phone calls, one to Governor Gary Johnson, who will be on my show later on, this next week. I called him. He said, "Don't worry about it, Clay." And then I called the chief of the state police, And his the next day, Clay, don't worry about it. That's easy for you guys to say. I think somebody's trying to get me killed here. Clay, the governor recalled that booklet today from every law enforcement agency in New Mexico. So, and I've been reading your magazine for 10 years. You don't have a thing to worry about for me or any of my men.
But let me give you two more for your list of extremists. Jeremiah and Ezekiel were labeled as extremists.
Yeah, and bring it on down to Ezra Pound, and
right?
You know, and Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Well, let me give you a little bit of Job, because I think this is the key, and the reason God called people like you and me, though we don't fit the mold of what folks normally would say, oh, he's going to be a preacher, he's going to be a leader, whatever. I'll tell you what God saw in us that you and I can't get away from, because I don't know about you, but I've tried to walk and I can't. The thing with Job, he was credited as being perfect in his relationship with God because of his loyalty. You and I have that. We have a loyalty which God banks on when he calls us and or points us, anoints us to do this work of getting the message out. He knows we won't quit. And that's what really creates a problem for the opposition, is they got to figure out some other way, because they can't kill us, they can't make us quit, so they're going to have to discredit us by saying, oh, they're extremists, or they're terrorists, or they're anti-government, when you and I both know we're not anti-government, we just want the government to do what they're supposed to do.
I want the government guaranteed me by the Constitution, a constitutional republic. That's right. And you know, I mean, one of the strangest phenomena, if I'm out somewhere and there's television cameras rolling and there's a politician there and he's talking about our great democracy, I step up and I say, sir, could you tell me when our form of government changed? When did our constitutional republic become a democracy? What Congress passed that? You know, how can we still say the Pledge of Allegiance to the Republic and the flag and the Republic for which it stands? Why do we do that? And suddenly, the cameras are turned off, the politician disappears, and I got a bunch of people standing around me going, what just happened?
And democracy is the next step to socialism and the next step to communism. And here we are. If you do, you're the political science department head. You know this better than I do, but the republic leaves the power in the hands of the people, and democracy on down, socialism and communism, gradually moves all of it to total control by some little group or individual at the top.
That's right. And that's what that's what's happening right here, right now.
Amen. Absolutely. I think we have a window. I honestly do. I think the awakening, to some degree, the remnant is coming out of the nap. I think that they have awakened to some degree. I think you and I, as vocal messengers, have a very small window to get the message out, because November, that window may slam shut. And I will say this, if we put all the people in Washington, Austin, wherever, and do not hold them to the Constitution and their promises, we haven't changed a thing. The cesspool's going to get the same pile of crap on them that it has everybody else that's gone there.
You know, I have never advocated violence, but we do have the system of law that was given to us and guaranteed to us by the Constitution. And what we need to do is something that evidently we haven't done for 50 years, and that's to start trying people for treason. I believe if we do that, then it's legal to hang them, isn't it?
Typically it is, yeah. the problem you're going to have is you're going to have so many on trial. You're going to have to really